There we go. There we are. All right. some technical difficulties there. What's up, guys? It's your man Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to this special edition of Sharpe Shorts. Hopefully, you guys all heard the sound effects coming at you live from Philadelphia, PA. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So, one of my guilty pleasures is watching the show Survivor. It's probably the greatest social experiment, the greatest televised social experiment, really, of all time. They've had 37 seasons, you know, outwit, outplay, outlast. There's a big time social dynamic that goes along with Survivor. And listen, it's a legacy show. I don't really see any show supplanting that particular show. And again, it's mainly, wait a minute, am I even streaming right now? There we go. All right. Man, oh man, I'll tell you what, I'm used to doing these shows at 5 o'clock Eastern time. I decided to do a special morning podcast, and as you guys can see, I am all out of sorts, but it looks like all systems are go. Anyway, let's go ahead and get right into it here. I'm going to talk about how Angelina Keely, the second runner-up, the woman who was in third place, proved to everybody, proved to the world why women should never act like men, why women should not exhibit masculine traits. Now, here's the thing, man. So Nick won, and I think Nick was probably going to be the clear winner. I don't think he had any real enemies. He was very, he was sort of an all shucks Kentucky guy. And he seems like a good guy. You know, he went to law school to be a lawyer, but then sort of had a wake-up call and said, hey, listen, I want to be rich. Or he did it because he wants to be rich, but then he figured out, you know what, I want to go home, I want to help my community. So now he is a public defender, and public defenders don't make anything. Anyway, so he won the $1 million. Mike came in second place, and Angelina, who came in third place, didn't get one single vote, at least not a vote that was read out loud. I think as soon as Nick got, vote number 6 or 7, it became clear that he was the winner of Survivor. So, just to get right into it here, right off the bat, they're doing their reunion show, and of course, Angelina goes on this rant about being a woman and how women are treated differently. And actually, during the time where they were pleading their case to the jury, Angelina, of course, talks about being a woman of color. You know, I had to go through these struggles, and let's just keep it all the way real. Women are treated differently than they treated men. Yes, Ryan Sullivan, we just started. Shout out to Javon Smiley, who was on the toilet. Excellent. Appreciate that, Javon. By the way, I'm multicasting. Multi-streaming. I'm streaming on all 3 of my YouTube channels. I'm streaming to Twitter as well as Facebook Live. So everyone is getting to see this. Anyway, and by the way, Gabby was on that feminist bullshit nonsense too. And any woman who tries to be a boss bitch, they always end up getting voted out very, very soon after that. Gabby orchestrated, I forget. Gabby orchestrated something, got somebody out, and then she went on and bragged about it. Yeah, I'm a power player. I'm a boss bitch. And she was on that feminist bullshit too. The boys are running shit, blah, 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 blah. This actually happened in the last season too. It happens a lot of seasons. And, you know, as a side note, Gabby may have voted for Angelina. That was Angelina's best chance to actually get a vote. But then again, we all know how these outward feminists really feel. They talk all this shit about how women should be empowered and women should be in power positions. But then when when you put their feet to the fire, when push comes to shove, when the rubber meets the road, they resort back to their biological hard drives, which is voting with their biology at that point. We'll never know who Gabby voted for. Maybe she voted for Angelina, maybe she didn't. But listen, case in point, Hillary Clinton. You know, all these women were on some, Hillary Clinton's going to win because it's time to put a woman in power. Guess what? Hillary Clinton lost the election. She was supposed to win this thing by a landslide. She ended up losing. And the reason why she ended up losing is a lot of these bitches out here talking about, feminism, this and that and the other, ended up voting for Hillary. Why? Because women shouldn't be exhibiting masculine traits. It just doesn't break the right way. By the way, if you guys want more of this kind of content, I have a daily show, Monday through Thursday, TSR Live with Donovan Sharpe at 5 p.m. Eastern. You guys can watch it either here Facebook, or all three of my YouTube channels. I usually do the first 15, 20 minutes multicasting, simulcasting, and then I shrink my audience to my one main YouTube channel. I'll go to donovansharpe.com to find out what that YouTube channel is. Then, of course, go to YouTube, or you can go to youtube.com, just type in Donovan Sharpe. When you see the logo that looks like this picture above my, above my head, beside my head, that's my logo. That's when you know you're on the right channel. So anyway, at the reunion, there was more feminist bullshit. And of course, Angelina, who's talking the most, Jeff and women are treated differently and all this other kind of stuff. Jeff Probst, the host, actually said, yeah, listen, the way you played the game, if you were a man, we would be having a different conversation. And that's the point. Yes, we would be having a different conversation. The conversation would be very different. And to be honest with you, if Angelina had been Angelo, she probably would have won Survivor. And listen, case in point, you look at guys like Boston Rob, the most conniving player in Survivor history. He's been on it 4 times. He won once, but then he technically won twice because he pulled Amber all the way to the finals. She won, he won, they won. Then, of course, there was the Dominic Wendell alliance from the last season, which is the second strongest alliance of all time, the second most formidable alliance of all time, one behind Rob and Amber. Well, the reason why those guys didn't catch any shade or any heat is because they're men, okay? When men act like women, they catch a bunch of heat. People don't like that. They don't know why they don't like it, but they don't like it because this is just not the way they're supposed to be acting. Yes, there are many, many shades of gray in between, but when you have a man who exhibits feminine traits, super feminine traits, people don't really want to be around that guy. It's the same with women. It doesn't sit the right way. When women exhibit masculine traits, the calculation, the outwittiness, the outplayedness, Angelina was too calculating of a player. And that just broke wrong. Now, I'm sure some people are probably saying, you know what? There are men who have been calculating players that they didn't like too. Yes, you're absolutely right. But what's the difference? They didn't act like men when they did it. They were too calculating and they had a lot of female feminine traits. Like they got in their feelings a lot. They talk shit behind people's back. Dude, Rob Mariano and fucking Dominic, dude, he said, listen, man, this is the bullshit that we're on. Yeah, we're going to have to lie, and we're going to have to do this, and we're going to have to, listen, we're going to have to be on some man shit. We're going to have to double-cross some people, but this is how the fuck it is. He acted like a man the entire time. Any conniving player like Johnny Fairplay, this guy right, oh, my grandma died. No, that's on, dude, that was some female bullshit. This is why people didn't like, they had a love-hate relationship with Johnny Fairplay, right? People loved Rupert Bonin because he was a man. He was sort of goofy, but he was a man's man. People don't like bitches, man. People loved Amber. Why? Because this is so funny. I'm actually thinking about this. People loved Amber Burkich because she submitted to Boston Rob. Everyone thought they hated Boston Rob, but they didn't because Boston Rob acted like a fucking man. He said, dude, not only am I going to form an alliance with this woman that I am going to bang and eventually marry, okay, you guys are going to vote for her just because, for whatever reason, right? You guys are going to vote for her, but guess what? No matter who wins, I win. That's some man shit right there. Dominic and Wendell went all the way to the fucking finals because they were on some man shit, acted like men. So don't come at me with this, well, there are men out there who are conniving. Yes, there were men out there who were conniving and play the game out, wit out, play out last, but guess what? The men who exhibit feminine traits while trying to play this way almost never win. It just doesn't happen. That's how it goes. Well, this is what happened with Angelina. Angelina was a calculating bitch the entire time. She was so manipulative, all these tears and, oh, I did the rice and I sacrificed myself. Like, dude, I told Devin early on, I was like, dude, this chick is not going to win. She's going to get far in the game. She's not going to win because she's exhibiting too many masculine traits. Females can exhibit masculine traits. Devin is she's a team lead. She's a supervisor at the place she works. Well, she replaced a woman who she happened to be very good friends with who had the position that she has now. The reason why Devin's predecessor, I'm not that smart, I don't know the difference. Okay, the reason why her predecessor was ousted is because she acted like a fucking man. They have these peer reviews. They said XYZ person, we'll call her Abby. Abby was too straightforward. She was too honest. She was too blunt. Blah, 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 blah. They called her bossy. They called her bitchy. Guess what? If Abby had been Abner, then they wouldn't have had those reviews. Why? Because Abner's a man and Abby's a woman. There's nothing wrong with what Abby did, but you're a woman. And when you exhibit super masculine traits as a woman, it's just not going to sit the right way. This is why the Angelina situation is a microcosm on why women think they can't get anywhere, because you're acting like a man, sweetheart. This is how it goes. Women and men can accomplish great things when they act like women and men. But here's the problem. Women don't want to accomplish the things that women are good at accomplishing. Dude, raising families, having kids, being feminine, belonging to a man. There's nothing there's nothing oppressed about that. No, when you're a woman and you fucking belong to a man, you're raising kids, that's the ultimate in womanhood. Don't believe me? Scroll down any Facebook feed. Scroll down any Facebook feed, and the slutty women out there, they take every bit as much pride in showing cleavage and showing their ass, got a new pair of jeans, as they are bragging about the fact that they think they're good moms. They take just as much, if not more, pride in that. That's the biology. The feminism tells them, show your tits, show your cleavage, show your ass. But the female biological hard drive tells them to take pride in the fact that they think they're a good mother. That's how this goes. The reason they take pride in that is because that's what they're supposed to take pride in. This is how it happens. This is how it goes. Angelina, once again, she played a great game. She really did. But I didn't like her. The people didn't like her. And she got not one vote at Final Tribal Council. Maybe she got one vote, and that was probably from Gabby, who was on some feminist bullshit. She tried to be a boss bitch, and her ass got voted out the very next time. End of discussion. That's it. Going back to Devin, she's in the position she's in now because the girl before her, too many people complained about her being too straightforward, being bitchy and bossy. Yes, because you're a woman. Okay? Their supervisor, all right, he exhibits the same traits. The same traits. Same guy, same position, a different guy, same position. He gets none of that stuff. These two were basically equals. They exhibited the same kind of traits. She's no longer with the company. He is. They did nothing wrong either way. But guess what? You can't act like a man when you're a woman. And again, this is why I go back to the Angelina situation. Now, and I'm going to wrap this up pretty quickly because I got to get to the gym and lift weights. So during the reunion, of course, Angelina goes off on her feminist whatever, and as a woman, and then she was out there talking about, well, you know, women are treated differently and blah, 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 blah. We've talked about that before. But then she says, well, there are other women out there like me, and I just want to let them know that you can find your voice, blah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's the problem, is that there are other women out there like you. And this is exactly why. A woman like Angelina will never win Survivor. Ever. She may make the top 3. She may even finish in second place. But when it comes down to it, people don't like women who exhibit masculine traits. That's it. That has nothing to do with male privilege. That doesn't have anything to do with this bullshit female oppression. It just rubs people the wrong way because you are a woman. Men who act feminine get pushed around. Why? Because they expect you to act like a fucking man. Women who act like super macho masculine men, they get called bossy and bitch because that's not the way you're supposed to act. It sits the wrong. Well, he acts the same way. Why doesn't he get picked on? Because he's a fucking man. He has a Y chromosome. That's why. I remember a while back they did a Survivor men versus women, and it was an abject disaster. The men had their shit together. Yeah, there were certain tiffs, right? I mean, you know, there were a few disagreements and maybe even some dislike among the men. But guess what? They got their shit together and they built a shelter and everything. You go over to the women's beach, they're all catty, they're bitching and moaning about how they don't have a shelter, that and the other. They're laying back, dude. They're laying back, you know, getting their sun rays. They didn't have shit. It was such an unfair advantage. It was so lopsided. The producer said, "Okay, we got to send one of the guys over there to help the girls out." Instantly, the game changed. That showed us why men and women are not equal. Men and women are not the same. This is how this goes. And men and women know that men and women aren't the same, yet we keep trying to push this bullshit. Women are not equal to men and men are not equal to women. That's just how this goes, man. Women can accomplish great things. You're not going to accomplish the great things that men can, and that's the problem. Women want to be men. You cannot be men and accomplish great things. Well, look at Sheryl Sandberg. Yeah, look at Sheryl Sandberg. She's a spinster. Well, she's married to who? To the man she really wants to be with? No, I don't think so. I don't even think she's married. No woman can have it all. This is just how it goes. Let's go to some of the tweets. If you guys don't believe me, most slut shaming comes from women. So let's just go to the tweets here quickly. So you put in Survivor Angelina. Let me take a look at this here. Probably going to be lip syncing here. All right. So, yes. So Naima Kirk says, on one hand, I absolutely think that women are treated and perceived differently than men in the game of Survivor as well as life. But on the other hand, I didn't like Angelina's gameplay, and I feel confident I would feel the same if she was a man. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You would not feel the same way if Angelina was Angelo. You wouldn't. It's so funny. Do you see how this goes? Women are, like, they talk out of both sides of their mouth. They can't help their own biology, right? She says, listen, men and women are treated differently. Yes, they are, because they are men and women, right? But on the other hand, I didn't like Angelina's gameplay. And I feel confident I would feel the same if she was a man. Really? Why didn't you like Angelina's gameplay? She can't explain it. Because the answer is Angelina was not Angelo. That's why you don't like Angelina's gameplay, because Angelina played the game like a man. You got to play the game like a woman. People who shame the women on Survivor, well, she's using her sexuality to get further in the game. This is what women do. This is what they do. Well, she fucked her way up the corporate ladder. What do you expect them to do? Get the job based on merit and hard work and determination? No. These are not characteristics indicative of females. This is not how it works. Don't hate on Sally Slut fucking her way to the top of the corporate ladder. If that's how she has to do it, then that's how she has to do it. She's going to pay the price. She's going to pay the price. Nobody's really going to take her seriously. But Naima Kirk, no, sweetheart. You didn't like Angelina's gameplay because Angelina's a woman. And you were confident you would feel the same way. But she hedged herself, right? I'm confident I would feel the same way if she was a man. No, you wouldn't. Because if you did, you would have said, and I would feel. She would have been more definitive. She said, and I feel confident. No. You would not feel the same if Angelina was Angelo. Somebody else says, didn't take long for Angelina to play the rice card. Unbelievable. Desla, a.k.a. Perky, says, it's been a while since somebody was so clueless about her game. Hashtag Angelina. These are all these women are talking all this shit about Angelina. Dude, another girl says, I sacrificed immunity to get us all rice, therefore I should get your vote. Jury, we don't care. Yeah, right. Melanie says, John asked Mike a question, not you, Angelina. Yeah, that was funny. They asked Mike a question during the, hey, plead your case thing. And Angelina, of course, started yapping. This is a masculine trait. Cutting people off, taking over, dominating the conversation. That's not what females should be doing. I'm telling, this is how it goes. I don't make the rules, guys. That's what Melanie said. Let's see some other stuff. Danielle's making fun of Angelina looking for the idol. That's funny. Baby Gee 444, way too much time spent talking to Angelina, the most hated person by viewers. No one gives a fuck what she has to say. We want to hear from David, Christian, Gabby, Carl, Nick. You know, the people who flip the game on its head. Right. There she goes. There she goes. Blair Brown. And anytime Angelina brings up the rice. My PNW, another girl says, when people buy or believe in Angelina's bullshit. This is funny. Now here's a man trying to hedge as well. Justin Bartleson says, we didn't dislike Angelina because she's strong and aggressive. We disliked her because she's incredibly narcissistic. No, you disliked her for all of those reasons. You disliked her because she's strong and aggressive and incredibly narcissistic. Rob Mariano, Boston Rob, was all three of these things, and we could not get enough. This is how this works. This is how this works. Adele Waters, another woman, says, women like Angelina, who act like selfish assholes and have no self-awareness but claim that people don't respect her because she's a woman, are the reason we can't get men to take the issue seriously. Thanks, Angelina. There is no issue to be taken seriously. No. Women shouldn't act like assholes and not have self-awareness. This is the problem. You're not acting like a man. So, all right, that's enough of that. I think I've made the point. This is why, listen, Angelina Cordona Keely proved why women should not act like men in all areas of life. Women are not supposed to be aggressive. They're not supposed to be conniving. They're not supposed to be calculating outward. Listen, women are calculating, right? But when it comes to their relationships and everything, yeah, they kind of have to be, because they don't want to end up with a fucking loser. We talk about that all the time. But when you are a female and you are exhibiting super masculine traits, people are not going to like you, and it has nothing to do with your characteristics, but everything to do with your gender. Women shouldn't act like men, and women who act like men are disliked by men and women alike. That's the end of the story. Now, I'm sure that there are going to be some women out there who says, well, I can't take a guy. I wore this shirt on purpose, my DuckTales shirt, just so I could take away your argument. There are going to be women out there who comment on this on Twitter or Facebook. I can't take a guy who wears a DuckTales shirt seriously. Yeah, that's real cute, because when you say stuff like that, you are literally telling me that you don't have an argument. You do not have an argument for what I'm talking about. You ever been in a debate with someone and all of a sudden they start calling you names and they start talking about, well, I don't take anyone seriously who has a beard. What's that got to do with the argument, unless we're talking about beard and DuckTales, right? No, the reason why you're going off script, the reason why you're going off topic is because deep down inside, you know I'm onto something. Deep down inside, you want to agree, but you can't outwardly admit it. So you try to disqualify something completely, something completely off the cuff as a way to change the conversation, to cover up the fact that you might not have a point. You might be wrong. You might agree with me. So yeah, go ahead. Make fun of my DuckTales t-shirt. Huey, Dewey, and Louie. There's Gizmo Duck. There's Launchpad McQuack. I used to watch this as a kid, right? And if the fact that I wear a DuckTales shirt on the air to you disqualifies what I'm talking about, what you know to be true, you're not being honest, sweetheart. Not being honest. Go to donovansharpe.com or patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe to get all of my content. Later on today, I will be going live to talk about 8 more undercover slut tells that most men are completely clueless about. Did a show about it yesterday. I pointed out the first 8. Today I'm going to do the second 8. You guys can go and get that complete show on donovansharpe.com or patreon.com/Donovan Sharpe. I am also going to be doing a live Bachelor simulcast. Every Bachelor episode, I'm going to be, obviously I can't show it on the air. That's illegal, but I'm going to have it right here on my iPad. I'm going to have the sound off, okay? You guys can follow along with me, and I'm going to give you the red pill, the real shit breakdown. Here's what's really going on. XYZ girl told Colton that she's been in a lot of bad relationships. Yeah. Translation, I'm a slut. Like, those are the kinds of things we're going to be talking about. Should be a lot of fun. I'm going to take, hopefully I'll be able to, I'm not going to take calls on the air, but I'll be reading the comments during the commercials, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So again, today at 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 Pacific on my channel, 8 more slut tells that, 8 more undercover slut tells that most men are completely clueless about. And then later on O'Shea Duke Jackson's channel, the Brother Pill Podcast, we are going to talk about, can you turn a hoe into a housewife? Spoiler alert, the answer is no. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.